Hey, welcome to episode 8 of Say You Look Tired. I'm Martin with my co-host Dan.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back for another one. If you haven't already, just stop, make sure 5-star review, leave a little comment, help us massively, and just share it with a friend as well. More the better. We want to grow this. We want to make it big. We're both enjoying it, so we want to keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
And this is double the statistic for podcasts. So most podcasts get to 4 episodes before they quit. We're at 8 now. So we are doing well.
We are. It's like getting past your first 3 years of teaching. They used to say, if you get past the first 3, you're in it for a lifetime. Well.
Till the 5th year.
Till the 5th year. Year 14. Well, year 15 now. It's crazy.
It's funny enough, we were talking about it earlier on today, but like I was saying to you, like, I taught for like 10 years and I've been out the classroom for 5, technically 4, but even though supply, not to, like doing the supply the service, I love it. I don't count it like with it being my own class that I wasn't fully in the trenches. And I was saying to you before, like I've got another 5 years and I'll be out the classroom as long as I've been in it, which is mad. I'll have to think about whether I can do this job then. But do you know what? Classrooms change so much. I think they changed a lot after COVID.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
I noticed like I would have conversations with people where I was like, wow, like that never even come into my thought processes. I can't think of them at the top of my head now, but I just know the dynamic of schools changed. I think it was almost used where I think COVID should have been like, hey, look at these great balanced lives that these teachers have got. Maybe we should try and do that. It kind of went the other way of the government going, hey, like we're going to catch up on all this work that you missed out and make it super stressful for you.
Yeah. They added an extra 15 minutes to our day.
Did they?
Yeah.
Was that just your school or was that?
So we have to be there to 3:30. But the children, instead of being in, ours used to leave at 3, they left at 3:15. To try and catch up. But what I did was I just extended the afternoon playtime and and my story lasted a lot longer. Yeah. I always knew when I got tired at the end of the day, I was like, I don't have time to read the story and do voices. Great, come on, let's do it.
Do you know what? That was one in our school. We were one of the last schools. I don't know whether they still do or whether it's gone now. We were one of the last schools where the juniors had an afternoon break and it was amazing.
Oh, an afternoon break?
Yeah, we used to have a morning lunch and an afternoon break.
Oh, wow.
It was great. And our break times used to be ridiculous sometimes. Like, Pendu was out there. Our breaks were 15 minutes. I don't think I ever brought them in before half an hour. She used to stay out. She used to stay out.
I was at school recently doing supply. I've only been there one day ever. And it was break time and I went outside and there was a bell, like an old school bell to ring. Yeah. And I knew that it was like 10:30 or so to bring them in. And I went to get it and the teacher was like, no. It was a day like this today. She was like, no. And I went, oh, when will I do it? She went, well, we'll see how long we can drag this out for. We were out there for 45 minutes. I said, I've got maths for your supply. She's like, nobody can be bothered today. And I was like, it's Monday. It's fine.
Do you know what? The other one, which I used to like, everyone used to hate wet play.
Oh, God. But you go into the classroom smells. It's stinking.
I used to secretly love it. Not the lunchtime one because then they'd be in and chaos. But I used to love wet play when we were doing it, like the normal break times. Because even though I didn't get a break, I would put an episode of something like Horrible History on, and I'd be adamant of like, no, we're watching the whole thing. Like it'd be like 40 minutes.
How long is an episode?
30, 40 minutes. I'd be like, no, we're watching it all. It'd be like, I'd be like, no. They just carry on. We used to have like sometimes like a 20-minute lesson afterwards. But I think it's the little things you do like that in school sometimes.
Yeah,
wouldn't do it all the time.
Fun.
Just when it was raining.
Have you ever seen like wet play for me is just chaos. Like in early years, it's chaos because they're in again. They've not left the room. They're all fighting with each other, or they've been out. It's worse when they've been out and a torrential downpour has happened, and they all come screaming. You think someone had thrown bleach or something around there. Like their witches melting or something. There's coats everywhere, or like you come back and they didn't. Like, there was 2 dinner ladies to 60 children. 2. They can't control this. Bless them. You come in, they're like, she's did this and he's did that. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have time for this. But I used to put episodes on. Have you ever heard of Come Outside? She's got an airplane, Pippin the dog.
Yeah.
And like they're really old. She's dead now, R.I.P. Well, I think she is. And no, she is. And I always used to love when it linked up to what the topic was.
You just watched that.
Yes. I was like, yes. It's a 20-minute episode. And I loved it. I'd watch it as well because I thought she's great. And I would sit like all in, what is it? You're missing it. And I would sit and I would just watch the whole thing with the children. And it relaxed everybody. It made everything fun. And it was good to do that. And then like in some of the math schemes, if it's like, I can't remember what it's called, they have number blocks episodes to watch.
Oh, it's called, number blocks.
And like, so I would be like, so I see it a lot on Supply. And here's the maths, and they've got this episode of number blocks that they're watching. I'm like, this is like 8 minutes long. Like, just put that episode of number blocks on. I'm like, good job. And I get a coffee made, and I'm like, get all snug because it's winter. I get my coat on. I'm like, right, everyone settle down. It's number 8 this week.
That's it. I think it makes it more enjoyable for the kids, definitely. There's those moments in school which I think just enjoy it, but you got to get it through for as a teacher as well, isn't it? Because it's so easy to burn out. Like another stat I was reading, like 35% of educators admit being burnt out while teaching. I think that number is ridiculous. It's definitely way higher.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's way higher. Like we spoke about before on the podcast, but the main reason for starting the podcast was I did an Instagram post about teacher burnout. It was ridiculous. I think it's at like 3 million people have seen it.
That is crazy.
80. I think it's weird with someone like that. Like, obviously, I made up when someone likes it, but it's weird. Like, like
I'm made up.
But 80,000 people hit that like button on it.
That's 80,000 people saying, yeah, I identify that.
It's mad. And I just think like, I think the trouble with burnout, a little bit like, we were talking in one of the other episodes about anxiety. You don't know it sometimes till later on. And it's realizing that like, oh, I am burnt out. And I think it's so tough in schools that way, isn't it? Because burnout is like a killer. Yeah. It'll destroy everything, won't it?
It's like a fire. It will destroy everything that it can touch. Like it took away... If I list it all out, took away my personality, took away my time. I say that personality, there was nothing there. Took away my time. I became a really negative, horrible person. I really was. Took away joy. I didn't see joy in anything. I didn't even want to teach lessons. I went through the motions. And it took away any form of motivation I had to do anything.
Yeah.
Like there was no way I was going to walk. A walk. It's like the way I was going to walk. There's no way I was going to, meet friends midweek. Not during a week. I've got work to do. Sundays for me. I hate it. Sundays. I've said this in a different podcast. I mean, one of our other episodes.
Yeah, probably said that on someone else's podcast as well.
When I woke up on a Sunday, it was time to work. I hate it waking up on a Sunday. Absolutely hate it. On our other one about sleep, I forgot to say, I used to take night all to try and sleep. I started drinking Night Nurse. I used to go to the Boots, pretend I had a sore throat to get Night Nurse to hopefully knock me out so I could sleep. Isn't that bad?
That's so bad.
And then I would take Cams as well. I had the bottle in my bag, the pills to try and stop myself. And I'm talking quite fluidly here, but I would lose the track of thought during the day, and I'd forget that. I was so forgetful. One time I remember I don't drive, so I was waiting on the bus home from school, and
you were at the wrong stop.
I was driving the bus. I just caught myself off guard and I was like, oh. And like 45 minutes, I think it's 45 minutes, so I had passed and the buses were like every, 10 minutes or so. And I was still sitting there. I was like, oh my goodness, I've forgotten I was here. I was just staring into the distance.
What do you mean buses were pulling up?
Yep.
You just forget to get on.
I just forgot to get on. I used to burn food all the time. And like, I always felt like I was chasing my tail. I always felt like I could never catch up with anything. But it felt like things were getting faster and faster and faster, and I was never going to catch up. Yeah. And I was waiting for someone to go, oh no, look at him. He's not catching up. He's not good enough at this. And because all my worth went into the job, and that's the only thing I thought I did well, then you throw more at it.
Oh, 100%. And that's where I think it is. Like, I'll get up that post in a minute. We can go through like the things. Yeah. You'll probably be like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that. Yep, I did that.
It did make me laugh. And I think this comes into the toxic side of teacher thing. There was arguments in my post about burnout, not about whether it was true, but people arguing about the research behind it. So people wanted like the full in-depth research. I will be honest with you, I did research it. It took me a long time to do it. It wasn't a university assignment. I didn't.
It's not a thesis.
I didn't put things. I just read stuff. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I'll take that from that. But there was people going, I need the research for this.
Show me the evidence.
But then there was other people arguing with them going, the evidence is if you go back and look at my life for the last 20 years, you'll see this. And to me, everything on there, you'll be able to go, oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing for me. Like, there's so much of burnout that you don't, like, that as teaching, it's just taken as naturally. That's part of your life. Like, you feeling that dread on a Sunday, every single Sunday is burnout. You're just so used to it, you don't realize.
And that's just how it is.
Yeah. Like, there's loads of them. Like, what was one here? Get them up now. I did have it up and it's reset itself. But the first one was like decision. Here it is. Like, decision drain. Like, the average teacher makes over 1,500 decisions a day, rapidly depleting the mental energy. Like, it's more than anyone else makes. Brain surgeons, like lawyers, doctors, anyone. Because you've got to think on the spot so much. And it's so funny that it's a job where the admin side of it drains so much. You're not sleeping, you're not focusing, you're not concentrating. And then you've got to think on your feet more than anyone else. Like, you're going to be burnt out just from that.
You've got like 30 little things in the room who are like, need input. And you're like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. 5 of them have got SEN and, 15 can't speak, in English. 15 of them have got English as an additional language. So I'm going to have to like think about my question. I've got my TA who I need to direct. I've got, 2 classrooms that I'm in. I was SLT, 2 other classrooms I'm in charge of other than my own. But I've not done I've not done the order yet for the budget. When am I going to get the time to look through the ESPO catalogue? And I just order any old tat, which I did do. And I just stick that on.
You know what? It always makes me laugh with English as an additional language. Like, the schools I worked in never really had any kids with English as an additional language. But when I was teacher training, I was in a school again, no English as a second language. But there was one kid in the whole school. His family were from China. He was born in China and they moved over. Moved over when he was about 3 months old. I think the mum and dad were both doctors. Let's call him, because I won't use his real name, let's call him Dave.
Okay.
Like, but
Dave from China.
But what was brilliant about it was the head thought it was the best joke in the world that in his school, the success and pass rate of English with additional language was 100%. and he would purposely take visitors to this class
to show him that one child.
Because he just thought it was the funniest joke in the world. Because this kid, Dave, he spoke the best English. He was like the brightest kid in the school. He was only in like year 2. He was the brightest kid in the school. by a mile. And he'd be like, oh, let me show you our English as additional language, Dave. And this kid would be like, hi, okay. He'd be like, look at it, brilliant.
Well done.
And then just walk off, wetting himself. like that he got to put on stuff like the statistic that they had 100% thing. He was like, if anything, people should be coming to us and asking, a
spotlight school in the district for EAL. Let's go see what these teachers do.
And I think that's another one where it just shows paperwork and stats are pointless in teaching. Do you know, like school league tables?
You could make stuff up.
Yeah.
And I've seen it happen. I'm not saying anything, but I have seen it happen in front of my eyes where data has been.
Our history teacher, when I was like just in school, our history teacher used to have a poster in his classroom which said 100% of pupils who have taken history at A level this year have got an A to C grade. And I remember he always used to have it up, and he used to point to it, and he used to say, he said once, he was like, that's a really impressive stat, isn't it? And we were like, yeah. He was like, I've got 2 students and they both got C's. And it's that thing, like,
that's how you word it, isn't it?
But it's that thing, like, burnout comes because everyone's so focused on that admin. Not so much that the teachers are focused on it, like, oh my God, we must get this. But
and the busy badge, the glory of it all.
Yeah.
I used to wear it with pride. Oh, look at me. Laminator on. Displays looking. I had the most over the top. Look at the displays. There's 3D. They've got a QR code on them. They've got everything going for them. The classroom's looking pristine. Buying my own resources, my own money.
The QR code one always used to make me laugh, because I remember when it come in and it was like a bit of a rage to put it on. But I remember thinking one time, like, well, like, we're in primary school, like, what kids use the QR?
I know, someone's getting their Motorola Razor out. Back in the day.
That's it, as I say, like, burnout decision fatigue's one, cognitive overload's another one,
There's too much to remember. Do you know, one day I got a parent put a complaint in against me, right? And I've never had that. Parents love me. And it was nothing to do with education. Nothing to do with anything I'd done. I hadn't sworn at the children or anything. But I had forgotten that in the morning when she was dropping off her child, that he had jacket potato and cheese, but didn't want the beans, okay? I forgot. I'm not in the dinner hall. I'm not behind the thing dishing it out either. I've sent my class off. He's got the thing, didn't eat hardly any of it. Had his pudding. And that was it. He's had snack in the classroom. So he's starved, apparently, because I got it wrong. That he's come home hungry because I forgot to take the beans off the jacket potato. And so this was called into school. I get brought into the office. And luckily, I'm on my well-being journey at this point. So I'm like feeling great about life. So I come in, sit down, cross the legs. I almost went to light up a cigarette. I don't smoke. I was like, yes, what's up? I come in like ready to go. It's 4:30. Out the door. Like, what is it? And they're like, oh well. That was my answer to that. Oh well. I can't do anything about that. But if that had been 4 or 5 years ago, I would have let that ruin my entire day. And I would have been worried about seeing that parent the next day. But then like I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to get things ready. I'm dealing with everything else. But I'd forgotten to get the beans off the jacket potato.
Some parent complaints are wild. I had a complaint in my first year as an NQT because it was my first year as an NQT.
And is that what they had the issue with?
They had an issue that their child had 3 NQT teachers in a row, and she didn't think it was right. And what the maddest part about it was she was a teacher.
Oh, so you were one at one stage,
but their head was like,
and by the looks of it, a long time ago. No,
the head was just like, I'm sure the head said something smarmy to her back, like
so rude.
He said something like, "Don't worry, I'll get it sorted." So that Mr. Malone won't have this problem next year. 'Cause I would have been an NQT.
Oh, I think don't worry, it won't be an NQT next year. We've fixed that one. I actually had a parent say to me recently, so I was covering year 2 on supply, and there'd been issues with the child behavior, and the parent said to me, "Well, it would help if you had a bit more experience being a teacher." I went, "Excuse me? You student teacher?" And I went, "Oh, no, but thank you." No, I was like, "I've been teaching for 15 years." Like, "Oh no, I thought you were like a new teacher." I was like, No. I was like, "Your child just really doesn't make good decisions with their behavior."
It's mad all that, and that brings it on to the stress as well. Because do you know what? It's not even just parent complaints or stuff like that. Because to be honest, most of the time they are a rarity.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've ever had in 15 years. Beans on spuds.
3, maybe 4. Very minor things. But it's all that emotional, like, taking on, isn't it? You take on all the emotions of your class, everything that's going on. It's part of that burnout as well. You're going to get emotionally attached to your class.
Yeah.
You're going to watch out for them. You're going to do that. And to me, I think it's really important with burnout to just recognize that it's going to happen. You're going to get burnt out. And it's recognizing it and stopping it pretty quick when it happens.
Yeah. Like I was tired and I didn't stop.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll stop when I'm done, which is what? Dead.
And don't get me wrong, I'm a big advocate, and if someone needs to take time off, take it off. But I think there's also things that you can do. I think it's an extreme. Obviously, it's an extreme because you're taking time off work and you're protecting your mental health that way. And I'm not shaming anyone for doing it. And I think you should do it if you need to do it and it gets to that point. But there's also stuff you can do beforehand which can help you massively. Like we talked about going on a walk.
Yeah.
Making sure that you stay hydrated. It's mad the amount of teachers that dehydrate themselves on purpose just because there's no ability for them to go to the toilet. Like drag the head out of class. Bring the head down to your class every single lesson for a week. They will put a policy in place.
Yeah. Because I bet you they go to the toilet.
Yeah. Whenever they want. And that's the big
not fair.
one. That's the big one for me. It's little things like that. If you can just get those ones, keep yourself hydrated, have fruit and veg. Sleep. Basically, we said it on the other last episode. We said it in the episode before that, all 8 of them. It's the same things, isn't it? But we'll keep saying it till it sticks in.
Because you have to. But the thing was, I knew that I was burnt out at that stage.
Yeah.
People were telling me, one of my good friends said, "Dan, you look awful."
Yeah.
Did I listen? Absolutely not, because I have to do this, because if I don't, my class won't get where they need to go. I've got my appraisal. I remember going to the school fair and being like, I think I told you one, I was in stocks and I was like, I'm only going to this. And I think I remember saying to one of the members of the PTA, "I'm only here because I'm putting out my appraisal. So don't want to be here." Isn't that awful? And I remember like doing like things like helping at like the book fair. I remember standing there going, "I'm only doing this for my appraisal." So isn't that really awful? Like, and I it brought out the worst bits of me because I was rebelling against it all. Absolutely all of it. And I was like, because it wasn't benefiting me, I'd lost the joy out of it. And I went, well, all this is doing is I'm coming here to earn money.
Yeah.
Because I need to, and I'm turning up.
And do you know what? I think
the old me, not now. As in like for the past 4 or 5 years, I've loved every bit of it.
But I think sometimes it's a lot of your environment as well. So what I find really interesting when you talk about some of these things is in the school where I spent like 9 years, absolutely loved it. Right? I didn't have any of them problems because they weren't there to have. And I do think the culture of school you're in obviously has a big impact. And it was a lot easier for me to probably set boundaries than it was for you because there wasn't as many things I had to put boundaries in for.
No, but it wasn't always like that. Like my first school, I loved working there. I have so many happy memories apart from probably the last 3 years there, but we changed into an academy. No offense. There are great academies out there. Don't get me wrong, but that's when the spirit level came marching in.
Oh yeah, but
that's when that started to happen, and it created a seed of doubt.
I just mean though, our book fair was outside ran Teachers didn't get involved in it.
Oh, okay. Mhm.
That's what I mean. We didn't have a school fair. We didn't have one. School discos, you know, where you see schools and they'll have them at night. Those were always during the day.
Oh, really?
Do you know, like everything was set up for...
Ours were at night and I didn't join in the dancing. I stood with my arms crossed.
See, ours were during the school day. So again, I used to love them.
Oh, yeah, I bet. No, I would if it was during the school day. Yeah. Come on, get the lights out.
That's what I mean. So there was a lot where your school environment can definitely dictate it because a lot of ours was probably set up around the teachers. And it was, the head I was working with was great, but it was all in place from day one I was there. He'd been a deputy there for a while as well, so he probably had some input in it, but whether it was the head before him or whether it was the head before her or, you know, someone had put these boundaries in place for everyone. Do you know? And then why would you not?
Yeah.
You know, it was little things like once you are having those school discos during the day, who's voting to
I know.
like make that a nighttime one?
Who did it?
But as well, I think it was stuff like round making it as easy as possible for the parents as well. Like we never, ever as well had a half day to end the term. We never once had. We always went to 3:15.
Oh, yes, it'll be.
For the simple fact that the head used to say, we will save 2 hours and we're going to disrupt all their routines. Probably the same. It was probably the same logic with the disco. It wasn't even thinking about us as staff. It was probably thinking, okay, so we can either have to have a disco at night where the parents are going to have to bring them back and they're going to have to do this and they're going to have to do that and they're going to have to do that.
And they won't sleep well.
Or we can have an own clothes day. They're all in their own clothes. They can have the disco and then all the kids are going.
I loved a class party.
Yeah.
Loved it. Christmas, I used to cover the desks in wrapping paper, sweets.
But it's like...
Those are the good
it just
times.
makes those good environments, doesn't it? And I think, obviously, you can't predict what your school's going to do.
No.
But you have to recognize your own burnout. Like, you were completely burnt out.
Yeah.
And then, I know speaking to you in the last year when you were teaching, you were in a really good place with it all. You didn't burn out. You had loads of energy. What were you doing in that last year to keep that burnout at bay? Because it still would have been able to take hold of you.
Yeah, so it was keeping planned. Like, also my head teacher was amazing. Hi, Helen. She gave us we all got one full day out of class per term to plan the next term.
That's so good.
One full day out. And like how we organized it was we did this thing called a unit plan, which then that we planned all our lessons. And that meant by the end of that day, we had the whole term planned. Like a bare bones thing.
You know yours, obviously I was 1 entry, you were 2, weren't you? Would you and your partner teacher be out at the same time or would you be out?
We were both out at the same time.
Isn't it?
Both out at the same time. And then something I did, which is part of, hopefully they're still doing this. I say it's one of my proudest moments ever as a teacher. So we had Ofsted and we got good in early years. And the governors were in and they were having to meet with me. Dan, what would make your life easier? I went, pay my TAs to 4:00.
Nice.
It's half an hour. They stay anyway to like school ends at 3:15. They stay to 3:40 anyway.
Yeah.
I said, they are absolutely amazing. It'll make such a difference to our lives. They paid them to 4:00. The level 3s stayed to 4:00, which meant that I had a TA to 4:00 every day. And because we're putting the value into them and they're seeing this, I care about you. They want to get the jobs done. And it was like, right, let's work together.
Yeah.
Kerry and I, Ellie's there. Here we go. The music's on. It turned into an event after school. Like the music's on. Hey girls, come on, let's go. Let's do this. And we're getting all the jobs done. But because we've had that day out, Marie and I, hey, and we've planned the entire term within reason in early years. You can't plan everything. And then when it came to our PPA, we've already planned the thing, drag and drop. Paste it in, and we were able to get the resources ready, and then I would be able to sit and look at my plan, and I would have my weekly can do. So I would start on the Friday, and Monday's getting ready on the Friday, and I like backdated it, whatever it is, and then I could see what needed to be prepared, which meant that I can bring that in. That's already taking my mental load off of how I'm going to delegate. We know where we're going, and every day I had an alarm set on my phone at 4:20. Said get out.
Yeah.
Get out. Not 4:30, 4:20. Which meant that I'm getting my things ready to go. And there was only 2 days I couldn't do it. Monday, SLT meeting, which should have been over at 4:30, which dragged on to 5. Though my friend Christina said, Dan, it used to be so funny seeing you. As soon as the clock ticked 4:30, you're like, I was like, no, because people love to chat. And I was like, I'm not here to chat. Yes, we're all friends. I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Time is money. I want to go home. You want to go home as much as me. So then we started having an agenda. That changed everything. Staff meeting was always over at 4:30, which is fine. But yeah, out the door at 4:30 was the thing. Being prepared with my meals and stuff. And yeah, I didn't ever take work comfortably, ever. But it was a very strong thing of me saying, well, I'm going to accept that I'm not going to ever catch up on everything.
Yeah.
But whoever is.
Oh, 100%.
And I've learned to accept it. And the payoff for me is what I am now. As in, I ran that marathon.
Yeah.
And I carry that feeling with me every single day. Do you know turning the road to go down to the finish line?
Yeah.
The past 10 years went past I was thinking about it the entire way of, feeling so alone when you're burnt out in your own classroom, wearing a knee support, humiliating under your trousers to work because you can't stand up all day, being so big that you have to go shopping and wait for people to, when they're not around, so you can reach for the back of the rack to get the triple XL because you don't want to see anyone. You don't want anyone to know that you're doing that.
Do you know what? It's mad that mindset with it as well. The way we can kid ourselves sometimes. I know it sounds harsh to say, but like if you're reaching for the triple XL anyway, and you're like waiting so that no one sees.
Yeah.
Like as if they can't like notice anyway.
I know.
It's that mindset, isn't it, that we all get ourselves in.
And in the hangers, they put the little plastic thing that says the size of it.
Yeah.
You did that. You put an extra X on that. It was you. Anyway, I would hold it. And then I couldn't wait to get to the till. Put it in a bag. Yeah, 50p, who cares? Put it in a bag. And anyway, so turning and going down that finish line. And then hearing my two sisters flew over from Northern Ireland, and they were there. They surprised me as I was there, and they've got it on video, and I'm so glad they did, because every now and then I watch it back and I look so happy. Yeah. I'm like, yay! And I've just done a marathon. I'm full of energy. But then that whole year I was like, I need to be out at 4:30. This was 2023 because I'm doing the marathon. That was my whole thing. And then after that, it's like, oh no, this is who I am now. I leave at 4:30 because I'm healthy. I feel like I've got my life back. And that's what gets me out of bed at 5 in the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 up, because I feel like I've been given a second chance. No,
that's it. And you've took a big graphy, you took a big run with it, and you've gone with it, haven't you? I think that's the biggest thing with it. And I think something you said there is really important. Like, you can, obviously, everyone run a marathon. But if not, I think you have to have stuff outside of teaching to do it. So again, obviously, I like going to the gym. I like keeping fit that way. But the biggest one for me was like, I love watching Everton. I go home and away to watch Everton. Going tomorrow to watch Everton play Fulham. Like, the big one for me is like, I couldn't work on a Saturday whenever the game was, because I'm out all day. I'm with my friends. I'm socializing. It's a different thing. And again, it's like you had that appointment. You have to leave at 4:30 so that you can do that training for that marathon. I had to make sure that I was in the gym for 7 for the lifestyle I wanted to live. And at the weekend, I needed to make sure that I had no work to do so that I could do that. And it's that thing for me. I think if someone's really struggling in teaching, find an outlet.
Yeah.
Find an outlet. Find something where you can make a good social group, whether it's going to some classes, whether it's getting into fitness, even if you feel a bit insecure about it. I'm not saying everyone sign up with me. Think, go to a gym, find a PT there, say, hey, can you give me a couple of pointers? Do you know, get that confidence that way? Little things. Or I think to everyone, even if you're not into sport, pick a sport, start going and following it. Start going. Whether it's the football, whether it's the women's football, whether it's ice hockey, whether it's basketball, whether it's rugby, whatever it is, find someone where there's going to be that community there. You're going to have that reason to go. Same way you joined that coaching.
Yeah.
You've got a great community. And what I notice is whenever we're chatting, you've always got something going on with them.
Yeah.
Like beforehand, obviously you said you were going out, you were drinking stuff like that. It was mainly with just teacher friends, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Do you know, when you're in that,
we're always in the bubble.
Misery, yeah.
It was a bubble of misery. And like my best friend that I made through teaching, we don't work together anymore.
Yeah.
But when we're together, we don't talk about teaching at all.
Perfect.
Well, we might spend about 10 minutes around the cauldron. But we don't. We talk about our actual lives.
Yeah.
Whereas when we were in it, that's all we did. Wine Wednesday.
Yeah.
Bitch. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then we went through it together. We went through that burnout together. I was way, not speaking for her, but I was way worse. Like, I was awful. But we got each other through it. We don't work together. But now when we are together, like I say, we talk about our actual lives, which are important to us.
And I think that's so important with it. Like, having that little bit outside gives you just that little insight into what you want your life to be like. Because it's so easy. We talked about it. Teaching's tough. You end up giving more to it. You end up working later, starting earlier, working on weekends, which leads to feeling tired, living off junk, not getting enough sleep, losing all your confidence in everything apart from teaching, pushing everything into teaching and just becoming that cycle. Well, it's been so easy for me to stop going to the match, do extra work. Then I'm not seeing my mates, I'm not socializing, everything's falling in on itself. All of a sudden, all I'm doing is teaching.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you got into, wasn't it?
Yeah. Can you imagine when you were saying that just now? I've just rewound my head. It's actually 5 years ago in April that I started to make a change. 5 years. And if that version of me didn't do anything, didn't make a change, the price of that is bad.
Yeah. And
Awful.
I know it sounds scary to say, but you think like what you've lost.
10 stone.
10 stone. It's without sounding horrible, with the routines, habits that you were in, it's easy to imagine that you had another 10 stone on. It's gone one way, why not the other?
Yeah, and the stress and the time.
So you're talking about what? You could have been 33 stone.
I could have been. Oh my goodness me. Oh my god. But it was everything else though.
Yeah.
It's the time. It's time. I would not have got the last 5 years have been better than the last 15.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Because I'm putting the boundaries in. I'm getting time for me. Do you know, getting up in the morning on a Wednesday, I don't go to the gym, but I go for a run. It's only half an hour. And I have time where I'm like, whoa, what am I going to do? And I sit some mornings and I light a candle in the morning. It's probably still on right now. And sorry, my dad's a fire chief. Blow that out. And I have time for myself. Yeah. I don't do any housework or anything. I do read it. I've got my book I'm reading. It's not, I'm rereading Atomic Habits. But I'll listen to a podcast, Miriam Margolyes. It's hilarious. And I'll just have time where I'm sitting. And sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, I remember what it was like. Get up, go, get things done. Kitchen table was a mess. And it was absolutely hideous. And yeah, it was burnout. People were telling me, but I didn't see it myself until that one day. And I was like, oh my goodness. So, I would say if you're listening to this right now, you might think, what do I change? How do I change it? Just choose one little thing. Even if it's like you say, you get home from work, you put your trainers on and you go for it. Start, if you can't be bothered, go 10 minutes. I couldn't be bothered. I didn't even do it.
And link it, I'd say, as well.
Link it to something else. Maybe you call someone when you're doing it.
Call someone, podcast.
Meet a friend. Yeah. Do something. Just the price of doing nothing is 33 stone.
Yeah.
Your version of that. It could be absolutely hideous. I wouldn't be here sitting with you doing this if I didn't do that. So now if you're listening to this right now, looking straight into that camera, make a change for yourself, because I'm telling you from someone who's been to the darkest of it all, this is your chance. And you could look back in 5 years from now and go, thank God I did that.
Yeah. I think that's it. And I think it's so important, like you share and you talk about stuff like that, which is so important. And it must be tough talking about it, because
it is. It still gets me sometimes because it was really bad, Martin. Yeah. It was absolutely awful. Like there's some things I remember, like, you know, going home for half-term break and not going to see my grandparents.
Yeah.
Who are no longer with
Just because you didn't want to see them.
No,
Not that you didn't. No, I didn't mean that. You know what I mean? You didn't want to see them, but you.
do.
Yeah, but you did. Yeah, but let's be honest, Dan. You probably didn't. You probably a bit of it was probably like you didn't want them to see you.
No, oh my goodness, no! I would not wanted them to see the state of me.
Yeah.
But I brought my laptop home and brought stuff home to do. Like, who does that? I would not even dream of doing that.
That's because you've got no confidence in anything else.
No, it was the only thing I believed I could do. And even then, it was being taken away from me because of toxicity and people saying, look at this, look at that. And then you start questioning other bits of your life, or maybe not good enough. And it's, absolutely awful.
And that's it. And even though there is a ton of things on burnout, like on that post, there's 20, 30. There's even some people actually joked in the comments, which I did like, saying, I've got burnout from reading all these burnouts. But even though there's so many different things, the cognitive, the mental decision, the taking on the emotions, like everything, the biggest one with burnout is that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Like not backing yourself at the beginning, not backing yourself to be a good teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So you throw everything into it, which leads to letting the rest of your life slack, which then leads to your confidence in your body, your confidence in yourself, your relationships, everything reducing. So then you throw it all into the thing that now you think you're good at. And it's that killer, isn't it? And I think if you're there and you're thinking, do you know, I just hate teaching. I don't want to be a teacher anymore. I always think it's sad because no one gets into teaching for money.
No.
No one gets into it for anything apart from that they love the idea of being a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've got through, I would say, the first year of teaching and you are still teaching, you obviously still like it. It's just creating those boundaries that work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that comes from putting things in. You know, I had great boundaries with the weekend because I wasn't willing to sacrifice going to the match with my mates for teaching, which meant it just fit round it.
Yeah, it doesn't make you any less of a teacher either.
Yeah. I went to the gym at 7 p.m. every night with my uncle. So because I was meeting him there, I wasn't skipping it. And it's that thing of like, the more we can build in that way, the better.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Like if you're really struggling at the minute, give yourself that accountability. Whether it's like you did, reach out to a coach. My DMs are always open. Even if it's a sign up, fantastic. We'll make sure that you're in a right place. Even if it's just for a chat, I'm always happy to have a chat with anyone. But more than that, give yourself some type of accountability, whether it's that or whether it's going for a walk with a friend, whether it's like joining a class that you're not going to skip, whether it's like getting back into something that you love.
Yeah.
Buy yourself a cinema pass for the year. Go to the cinema every weekend with a mate. Do you know, something little to just have that you time? Because that's the biggest thing with burnout. Teachers aren't giving themselves time to be them.
No.
They only give them to be Mr. Mac, Mr. Malone, not Dan, not Martin.
Yeah.
And that's the key with it all, isn't it?
Life is too short.
Yeah.
You only get so many goes around the sun.
That's it.
When are you going to enjoy them?
That's it. You know, and there's no point waiting until retirement.
Oh my goodness, no. We'll be hobbling around.
You hobble around, but as well, like, you're going to destroy your life before you get there.
Yeah.
Like, what's retirement going to be? About 70 probably by the time we're ready to retire. If you look at your lifestyle that you're having now, are you going to confidently enjoy 70? And if you're not, what are you waiting for? Make those changes now. That's the biggest one with it, isn't it? Burnout is a killer. Every teacher's going to suffer with it. But it's about not letting it take over your life. It's about putting those boundaries in. It's about being fair, being firm. And it's tough choices. But you can either make the tough choices and, you know, leave it, 4:30, say no to stuff, build those relationships with your TAs and do that hard work that way. Go to the gym, go running, build stuff there. Or you can have those hard choices put on you where you go in the shops and getting the triple XL. You're wearing, as you said, like a knee brace just to like support your knee when you're walking around the classroom.
Yep.
You're feeling that dread on a Sunday because you just can't be bothered with work the next week. You're pushing the kids out the door because you need to get onto your real work. Like, there's the choices you make. And if you can't see how, you said just start with something little. That walk, I think, is key.
Yeah.
Because it decompresses you as well. You're outside, you're in nature, you're feeling good. If we look at...
Especially in weather like this, do it long.
Yeah. Do you know what, though? Even when it's horrible, even when it's chucking it down, when it's windy, it's dark and it's miserable, and you go, oh, I wouldn't like that. You get out in it and you feel better when you're in.
I have my rainy day playlist when I'm out and about in autumn with the leaves everywhere. The autumn ballads are on. I'm in a music video.
I literally have so many podcasts. It's ridiculous. Like, I have one's about education.
Hours.
Yeah, one. Constantly on repeat. That's why I've got so many downloads. It's just me. But I have them. I have football ones. I have ones just focused on Everton. I have like comedy and humor ones. I have interview ones. I have like educational ones about the gym and stuff like that. So that I've got them for whatever mood I'm in. Do you know what I mean? And that to me is a big one. Like, set yourself up to win by not just having one podcast that you kind of like, find a load that you love. And that, you know, sometimes I'm going to be like the news agents ones where it's all about the politics and the news of the week. Sometimes I love listening to it. Sometimes it's the last thing I want to listen to. So then I'll listen to Gary Neville's one about football, or I'll listen to an Everton one, or I'll listen to like Off Menu where they have a guest on and they talk, and it's having those ones where I'll listen to that one today. Have audiobooks, have podcasts, have everything set. So
yours are all very like highbrow, and they're all very like nice ones. I think mine are awful. But I've got one called well, they're not. As in, mine are all about pop culture. Yeah, I've got one that I absolutely love called Right Back At Ya, and they talk about noughties pop music acts, or they delve into like pop culture of the time. I absolutely, because it takes me back to a time when I'm like, yep, I remember that. And then there's like I listen to ones about music, you know, pop stars and stuff like that. Then it delves into like their past. Oh, then I've got like a couple of like crime ones that I'm listening to about Northern Ireland. I'm like, oh.
See, there's one I listen to which I think's mad. It's called The Football Ramble. And it's just 4 guys when they were at uni who did a podcast because they all love talking about football. And they started that when I was in my first year of uni. And I just happened to find it when I was in my second year of uni. And they're still going now. I think they're one of the top podcasts like in Britain.
Oh, wow.
But it's that idea of like, they've been doing that for like 20 years now. Like,
oh, good
mad.
for them.
But I just think with it all, like, again, it talks to like the burnout journey. It talks about any journey. Like, anything worthwhile is going to take a long time. Did they think they were going to become like where they've got their own studio? They employ like proper football writers to come in and chat with them now weekly and stuff like that. They were sitting in one of their bedrooms just recording on I think they had an iPhone in the middle and they were all just talking. Do you know what I mean? Did they ever think that'd get to that? No. If you don't think that you can come back from burnout now, you can. You just probably can't do it next week.
No, it's all about the journey. That's
it. It's all about the journey. To say, hopefully someone's found one little thing that's going to help them on this. Hopefully it's just going for a walk. But I think it's a good place for us to wrap up to this one. Enjoyed it. We'll be wearing different tops in the next one because we've got a different time.
I forgot to check. That's why I said when we did the first 4 that we were wearing the same clothes because we do it back to back. And then today I've just realized I brought change of clothes. I'd not changed into any of it. So
Oh no, but no. It's been good. Make sure you like, comment, leave 5 stars, leave reviews, share it, stick it on your story.
Yes,
and
please.
If you do need any advice, both our Instagrams are there. You can reach out. But no, hopefully you've enjoyed it.
Yeah. See you soon, everybody.
Bye now.